A quote by the Better Homes and Gardens says that canned tomatoes are like summer saved, all that deep sun-kissed flavor ready to be enjoyed. I started a can about a year ago. I had watched a lot of my mother, my mother-in-law, and my grandmother over the years canning, and I started to learn all the benefits that came along with canning, as well as the joy that came along with enjoying the final product. Canning your own food can become beneficial to your overall well-being, as well as giving you an outlook to the farm-to-table lifestyle. Today I will talk about how beneficial canning your own food can become from growing your own food, the process of canning, and then enjoying the final product. So I'll first start with growing your own food. When you start the process of learning how to garden and canning and all that kind of thing, you become self-sufficient. You now have the assurance of knowing if anything were to happen, you can rely on canning as well as gardening. And you can control your own ingredients by growing your own food. You can, have different herbs and different things that you want to put into your canning jars. You know what's in there, and you can go to your local farmers market and you know what's there. And then you also have less risk of ingesting harmful chemicals, because sometimes the food you get from the store has pesticides on it, and you know that if it comes from your own garden or farmer's market, that it doesn't have those harmful preservatives or anything like that. Now that I've talked to you about growing your own food, I'll talk to you how you can turn that homegrown food into your own jar of homegrown food. So the process of canning can become a little tedious. You need to get the right tools. You can go to any home goods store and get them in a set. But according to Ball Mason Jar's site, which has a whole thing about canning 101, you need to either have a water bath or a pressure cooker, depending on the recipe, a funnel, a jar grabber, of course jars, a magnetic lid lifter, and then a bubble remover, headspace tool, and then whatever preservative you might need for that recipe, whether it be pectin for jams and jellies or pickling or canning salt. And then you need to decide what method you need to use. Water bath is more for high acidic foods like tomatoes, jams, jellies, pickles, things like that. And then pressure canning is for low acidic foods like some vegetables and meat. It is important to choose the right method to ensure that your food is preserved properly. And then when you start you have your products. Now that you can go on to canning, you want to first sterilize your jars and also your lids. So whether you do it yourself on the stove or the dishwasher or even by hand, you can do that. You just need to boil a pot of water, leave them in there, or sometimes that your dishwasher has a setting where you can sanitize. And then pick whatever recipe you choose, whether it be a sauce or pickles or peaches or anything like that. Get them all ready to go. And then you fill your product into the jars. You use a headspace tool to make sure that it's not all the way to the top. And then you use the bubble remover tool to go along the outside of the jar to make sure there's no bubbles in there. And then you put them in either the water bath or the pressure cooker. After they've been in there for a while, you will take them out with a jar grabber, set them on a towel, and after a while you should hear a pop sound. And then that lets you know that you did it right. So now that I talked to you about the process of canning, I will talk to you about enjoying your final product. So first, you really gain the sense of accomplishment, like, yes, I've just made my own sauce and canned it myself, and it was all me. So, as stated in an article by Jonathan Ewald called "What is Canning and What are the Benefits?" I will talk about some of the benefits. You lowered your carbon footprint. You either grew all your own food, got it from the farmer's market, came home, and did the process of canning. You didn't go to the store where the cans were from a factory, and you've lowered your carbon footprint. And you've also supported your local economy. That was another point made in an article by the entrepreneur called Six Benefits for You and Your Community from Supporting Your Local Entrepreneurs. You support your local economy by going to the farmers market and supporting all the local growers and farmers that are in your area that have done that. But then, you have also started your own garden in your own backyard. And then the last point, you have excellent quality and taste. You've put all the right ingredients in there, you know what's in there, and you know that it's to your family's liking. And if your family has food allergies, you know that you didn't put that in there. So I will conclude with talking about how even though there's lots of rules that comes along with canning, the joy comes from enjoying that final product. Now you can see that canning can become beneficial from growing your own food, the process of canning, and then enjoying that final product. The farm to table lifestyle definitely aids to your overall well-being as a member of society. In the end, canning becomes a lifestyle. You start thinking about it in the springtime about what you're gonna grow in your garden, what farmers markets you're gonna go to. In the summertime, you start getting started on canning, and then fall and winter, you have tons of canned food to enjoy. And if you start doing it every year, you have a full pantry of food to enjoy, and you can start to enjoy it every year. So different foods have different shelf lives. So sometimes, something can last for more than a year, but sometimes most things last about a year. It depends. And so going back to the quote in the beginning, canning helps you capture that true essence of homegrown goodness in a jar all year round, right at your fingertips. Thank you.